I've got $100,000. What should I do with it?
I keep it very, very simple. So I put 50K into Bitcoin, 30 into Ethereum, and the remaining 20 is where it gets interesting.
It'd be stupid to not put majority or more in Bitcoin.
I'm not a trader. I don't want to manage airdrops, meme coins, all this sort of stuff where I have to check in daily or even weekly. I'm not about that life. I would rather have my time than constantly managing a portfolio.
If you have no crypto or you've got no money and you're handed 100K, I'd be putting it all in the Bitcoin. Welcome back to another episode of the Ben and Bergs podcast. I'm Ben, your favorite high school dropout and founder of Collective Shift. Alongside me is Bergs, your favorite MBA and COO of Collective Shift. Join us as we bring you world-class crypto research and strategies to help you dominate this crypto bull market, as well as behind-the-scenes view of us scaling the best crypto research company here in Australia. And if you like the podcast, please leave us a follow on your favorite podcasting app or subscribe if you are on YouTube. And today we've got an absolute cracker of an episode, Bergs, because I just left a one-on-one platinum strategy session, and the question was asked, I've got $100,000. What should I do with it? And that is a great question, because I get asked all the time, what should I do with $1,000? But with $100,000, now we can actually do some cool stuff. So today on the show, folks, we are going to equally answer the question based on our existing current status, financial status. We've got $100,000 in the bank, ready to load up. It's in USDC in the exchange. Let's rock and roll. What are we doing with it? Bergs, I want to find
hang on. Are we limiting ourselves to crypto? You've said it's already in USDC.
It's in USDC.
So is it crypto only?
We're only doing crypto now. Yep.
All right, we're only doing crypto. All right.
Crypto.
Classic Ben, just change up the episode, mate.
I know you do property and all this cool shit. No one gives a flying for who's up. We want crypto, mate. We want the beans. What are you doing with it?
All right, mate, let's go. So this is heavily dependent on your goals, financial situation, all that kind of stuff.
Give us your stage. Give us a little bit of background.
Yeah. Mate, I'm getting there. If you didn't interrupt. Jesus Christ, this
guy
here.
Slow, guys. Like, come on, hurry up. Let's go. I want to know.
So just for everyone out there, we've had the worst start to this podcast. We're now an hour and 10 minutes in and we've only just started recording because Ben can't get his life together. He's like, can't write something, and then the camera runs out of battery and it's all sorts of nonsense. We had to end up taking a break. My God. All right, let's jump into it. So I got 100K to spend, crypto only. It's sitting in USDC, somewhere in a wallet or on an exchange. My situation is that I have a primary place of residence. I have crypto investments, superannuation, and shares. And my current goal is to obviously grow my wealth, but not at insane risk. I'm not a trader. I don't want to manage airdrops, meme coins, all this sort of stuff where I have to check in daily or even weekly. I'm not about that life. I would rather have my time than constantly managing a portfolio. And this $100,000 is not money that I would need in the next 1 to 5 years. Like, I have enough investments elsewhere to maintain my lifestyle and money from the business I'm working that I wouldn't need that money. So for me, it's a longer term play, 5 to 10 years at least, if not 20. I don't want to manage it a lot. I want to sleep well at night and I don't have to stuff around with like all my wallets, and I want to keep it easy. So for me, with 100 grand, I'd keep it very, very simple. So I'd put 50K into Bitcoin, 30 into Ethereum, and the remaining 20 is where it gets interesting. So I see Ben's face there and I listen to the team and they just keep talking so much about Solana. And since you just give me 100 grand, why not? I'll take 10K of Solana risk. So we're at 50% Bitcoin, 50K, 30K Ethereum, 10% Solana. And then the remaining 10% I would put into longer term altcoins. So I would go to the shift list. I would ask the researchers, I would look at those and say, which ones do I need to hold that I can hold for a reasonable amount of time till at least after this bull run? I don't want to check it weekly. I want better returns than Ethereum, Bitcoin, or Solana in the next 1 to 2 years. And I would probably choose 5 coins and I'll put 2 grand into each of those and I'm done.
Okay. I like it. And when you said time horizon for you, Bergs, was 5 years. Was that right?
Minimum 5 years. So if you just look at that, 90% of that stack, well, Bitcoin I'll probably never sell. Ethereum I'll probably sell at the top, and Solana I'd probably sell a bit earlier when things are really raw.
Do you think you're going to take some profits like this cycle?
I struggle with this question a lot because if we're under the assumption that, and this is talking about my whole portfolio, not just this 100K, if I hit my goals, I will definitely take profits and fulfill those goals. The question then becomes, if I have money elsewhere where I can fulfill those goals, one, do I need bigger goals? I've really struggled with this and I just don't have massive goals. Like, I don't want a boat. I don't need other properties. I don't need a super fancy car, right? And if I sell that crypto, you get a tax burden and on it goes. And I could just keep that Bitcoin. But the problem comes where I'm definitely a 4-year cycle person. So are you, Ben. And does stability eventually come to these cycles? Are we going to see massive drawdowns? Are we going to see huge highs and lows? I don't believe we will see insane drawdowns like 70% plus in Bitcoin like we used to see. I believe it'll be less, but yeah, I will be selling some near the top. So I've actually done my little strategy document, Ben, with you, and I have my goals. So for me, it was like around the 150K mark, I'm going to start selling Bitcoin. And it's not huge amounts. It'll be something like 150K. It'll be something like maybe 10%. And then it'll start to go up from there because I'll be able to fulfill my goals.
And you've already got property, right? So for you, I would think, I'm not taking your words here, but I would think that Bitcoin and property is really just a play, right? Get through this cycle, play it out as much as you can with the alts, then just, sell them all down and stick it into BTC or property.
Exactly right. And other things may happen as well. Like some of my shares might go up, a crazy amount. Then my property might go up and I'll have equity redraw and deploy. Or some of the altcoins might really go high and I can sell those off. So yeah, it's one of those things where when it actually comes to it and you have that money, it's hard for me to get in that mind frame now. But when it is actually happening, I do have a plan and I will be taking profits. I don't think they're going to be as significant as I think they are. So I have a plan to sell down over 50% of my crypto during the peak of this market. And when that actually happens, it's going to be very interesting to see if I do that or if my goals change, or if crypto goes so nuts it fulfills the goals earlier.
I guarantee you'll think about changing your goals. I guarantee it. Everyone does. It's like, oh, it's never going to go down. Let's adjust.
Yeah, so this is the trick, right? Where when you've got that Bitcoin, everyone says you get it at the price that you deserve. Let's just, because I keep it very simple because, any altcoins I will gladly sell. Ethereum I will sell. Bitcoin is the one where I want to hold it, give it down to my kids and their kids' kids. And you get Bitcoin at the price that you deserve. And I'm very wary of selling too much of it during a bull market. And then I have to be much more active to constantly buy back. And I'm also dollar cost averaging on a weekly basis to increase that stack. So that's where I focus most of my time. And when I speak, that's what I'm thinking about the most because it is a big chunk of my portfolio.
And I think there'll be less volatility over time too, right? Like we'll definitely go into another bear market, but we're probably not going to do another 70 or 80% correction like we have in previous cycles either.
Exactly. And what if it comes at, if it's in 18 months time or 12 months time, whatever it is, we're at the peak of a bull market. We've got all these fancy tools where I can now borrow against my Bitcoin. That means I don't need to sell it. So there's a lot of scenarios that can play out. And really, I'm only selling it to either buy consumer items or get another investment property. But I can get that investment property in other ways. So I've got those goals and I do have them there, but I can actually fulfill them in more tax efficient ways. So it's interesting. Yeah, it changes over time and it changes when you change and your situation.
100%. I think that's the biggest thing that, everyone needs to remember is that this is completely independent on you and your current position. And that's why just listening to some guy on YouTube about what he's doing, isn't always the right advice for you. So
that's it. Like, yeah. So for me, like I don't need the cash flow and there's no real reason to sell it apart from maximizing those gains. But now if I sell it, I've got a cash problem. And what do I do with it? I either need to spend it or roll it into something else.
Yeah.
And then what happens if Bitcoin is the best investment?
Well, it has been for a little while. So
see, this is the thing. So that's what I struggle with. I do have a plan. And when I hit those targets, it's time to execute on that. But as I slowly go month to month to month closer to that plan, I think I'll become more solid in what I actually want to do and be able to execute on it. And one fear I actually don't have the fear that I won't be able to execute. Like I'll be able to pull the trigger. It's more just nailing down when to do that.
Yeah. Which is
way
hardest
before
thing,
the
right?
event actually happens.
Hardest thing.
This is
Yeah.
the challenge, right?
That's what we're here to do, mate. Collective shift.
I'll have
Right.
you like literally. I'm gonna have weekly meetings with you,
Oh yeah.
and I'll be like, "This is where I'm at," and you just be like, "You're an idiot. Here's reality," and I'm like, "Okay, right, you're right."
Yeah, it's good though. You just have that external opinion because you just get inside your head, or you speak to your friends and they don't know what's going on. They tell you to sell. You're like, I can't trust this person. They don't even know what they're talking about. Like you need that someone independent to actually give you that help, I think.
Because I'm not really driven by massive gains. That doesn't excite me too much. The bigger motivator is having to live through another bear market when I could have sold the top.
Oh yeah, that's worse.
Right. And
Yeah.
this is why I know I will enact when I hit my target, at least the first 10% tranche of like Bitcoin. All the alts would have already, like majority would have been gone or sold down. And then if it goes, 160, 70, 200K, more and more and more. Because it's you need to sell some and get that chunk. Otherwise, I would just hate myself for another 4 years.
Oh no.
I just can't go through that destruction again, mate. I would have learned zero lessons.
It's just guilt, right? We're not even guilt. It's just like it's just anger.
It's regret, mate.
Regret, that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like it is guilt, and guilt is like I heard a beautiful thing. Guilt is like self-laceration, where it's like you're just constantly beating yourself up over the stupid shit you did. And my God, if I'm happy because I haven't repeated the things of ICOs and NFTs, spending my money on things I don't really understand and thinking that everyone's going to get rich. I'm definitely not doing it this cycle. I haven't done it leading up to this cycle. Now I need to focus on the selling part.
I love it. Okay, well, we'll nail the sell. I like your strategy. Let's do mine because Berg's is in a little bit of a different stage of life than I am. So current financial position, 99% exposed to crypto. I've got our business collective shift. No other assets outside of it. I'm all in.
What's the 1%, mate? Your clothes.
Hey? My bed. I bought that mattress and the 8 sleep. That's 1%.
Yeah. Your bed, your phone, and your watch. Yeah, that's a 1%.
Your watch. and my drink bottle. That's a 1%.
Oh, I need Tesla.
Every Tesla. Got no furniture, nothing on the walls. Just my laptop. The chair's pretty good too. That's in the 1%. So that's current financial position. Single, so like no family I need to look after just yet. So what I would do with 100K? So I would put 60% in Bitcoin. Bitcoin's compounding at 45% compounding growth rate for the last 10 years, up 120% over the last 12 months. And the reality is it's outperformed every single coin but 24 altcoins out of like 50,000. So you're absolutely stupid to not own majority Bitcoin.
What time period was that, Ben? The 24 altcoins? Was that in the last year?
Yeah, 12 months. Last 12 months.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I'm going to put 10% in Solana. I think Solana is going to continue to do really well this cycle. I'm going to put 10% in Ethereum because I think Ethereum's undervalued right now and it hasn't performed. I think it will in this cycle once Bitcoin breaks through all-time highs. I'm going to put 5% into Sui because I think the next gen layer 1 narrative is really going to take off. Sui's already performing well. I'm going to put 5% in Maple because I'm super bullish on Maple and the DeFi, and it's up to 450 mil TVO, I think now. Like I just think it's going to do really well in the back end of the bull market. I'm going to put a little bit higher risk for me because I really want to take advantage of this market, but also I've already got, the business and I've got other things happening. So if this doesn't play out, I don't really care. And I've got a bunch of Bitcoin, so I'm happy with that. So I'm going to put 5% into memes. I'm going to probably have a crack at either 2 or 3 memes because I think memes are going to do really well this cycle. And unlike Bergs, I'm like full-time looking at the markets every day. Like it's literally my job. So I'm so far deep in it. Like I've got all the information right handy. So I'd be stupid not to. I think I'd have more guilt not doing anything about it when I know and I talk to people about it. I need to walk the walk. So I walk the walk and then share what I do. So I'm looking at Solana-based memes. I think either Popcat, Whiff, or Pepe is what I'm going to be looking at. I think they're going to get a lot of attraction. They're obviously in the top 100, so they're in the $1 billion market caps. They're probably the safer of the meme coins. But I'd probably look at a split across those 3. And then I'm going to put 2.5% into DMT, which is a layer 3 gaming streaming platform. Pretty low market cap as well. Bit of a throw at the stumps. And then also I'm going to have a crack at Prime, which is a gaming AI play, just to get a bit of that AI narrative. So I've sort of split it there across a little bit more alts, but still got a big chunk of BTC. So if it all goes to shit, I'm still happy with my BTC position.
This is fascinating. So if we were to sum up, I've just essentially extended my portfolio in the kind of allocation that I already have. and plus some Solana and a couple of altcoins. You've gone full risk on with everything where they're all altcoins. All right. So why is that? Is that because of your kind of station in life and opportunity that you see?
Yeah, it's nearly like if I just had $100,000 show up tomorrow, I'm like, let's go. But it's also not let's go like there's no Bitcoin there. Like it'd be stupid to not put a majority or more in Bitcoin. So I want to make it clear that yes, I've got a good spread of alts, but they're also quite small percentages. Like I've got 60% into BTC and I've got 40% in alts, really 20% outside of Sol and ETH. So it's still a relatively good portfolio allocation, in my opinion, where I'm setting myself up for what I think is going to happen next year, which is going to be an altcoin run. But I'm also balancing that effective if it doesn't happen, where I've still got a big chunk of Bitcoin, which I know is going to compound at roughly 45% CAGR for the next like 3 or 4 years. So it's still going to do well. So I think I've kind of got my foot in both camps is the way I think about that.
Just saying that, like, man, 45% CAGR is insane. All right. Like you get that nowhere. And then looking at, Bitcoin overtaking the market cap of gold, which is like one of the simplest metrics and it's the nearest metric. And that's already, what was it? Gold's even gone up since we talked about it. So it was from, I don't know how many trillion gold is now, but it was roughly a 10x from when Bitcoin was at 70K.
Yeah.
Which is just insane.
So, but this comes back to where you're at, right? Like if you have no crypto or you've got no money and you're handed 100K, I'd be putting it all into, I'd be putting it all into Bitcoin. But like what I'm saying is that 100K is 100K. It's a lot of money, but it's not like you're going to retire tomorrow. Like it's not like, it kind of sounds bad, but like 100K is good, but it's not going to change your life. So what I'm saying is that this is going to, I'm protecting the downside by having 60% Bitcoin. So it's going to do well anyway, but it could do a lot more if the alts play out the way it does. But if it doesn't, I've still got the fallback of a bunch of Bitcoin. Now, if we just went and dumped 100K in altcoins and didn't play out, well, you've just basically lost 100K if it doesn't play out. I'm not about that life. I'm about risk to reward. So I'm looking at the opportunity of the upside by managing the downside. And that's what I think my portfolio does well.
That's a really good point. Like Checkmate says, you've got the winning lottery ticket with Bitcoin. You need to have some of that in your portfolio. Even if you stuff up the rest of your portfolio, you'll do well with Bitcoin. The reason you have those other altcoins in your portfolio is just increasing that risk appetite, a little bit and being able to get those gains for the situation and the market that we're currently in.
Yeah, exactly right. And there will be a point where Bitcoin will stagnate and money will rotate down, but that's probably not going to be for a little while. So, the other play here would to be stick it all in Bitcoin, wait till we break through all-time highs, and then rotate into some alts. Like that would be the more active approach. But, I'm happy to just buy and hold.
Yeah. What's been interesting for me with this conversation, just thinking back where I started out and what I was talking about, nothing too much has changed for me financially. It's all, very boring and what kind of forecasted. But my mindset has actually changed around what I actually want. So the goals I wrote down and the targets and figures have changed, I think, significantly. What different things have become important to me, like getting an investment property has become very important to me. So I'm definitely going to move around some of my portfolio and fulfill that sooner rather than later.
Well, I'm glad you figured that out in the 18 minutes we've been doing this podcast for.
Yeah, mate. No, because you write these things down and you kind of think about it, you mull it and you ideate and, we think about investing all day, every day. But then, well, what do I actually want to walk away with at the end of this cycle? Like you're very clear, you want to walk away with a house and you've got certain targets that you want to hit. And mine's like, well, I've achieved roughly those things, but now it's like more. And it's like, great, well, what more? Yeah, this, but do they really matter to you? And the one that does matter is getting an investment property for my kid, for like when they're old. Like that's one thing I'd like to be able to do. And if I could let's just say I could only do that, it would be a fucking win. Like that is absolutely Gucci. So I'm like, all right, well, I can kind of already do that. Like, outside of crypto, like why don't I get my ass into gear and do that and then readjust my targets within crypto?
Yeah, no, I like it, and I think like in terms of property being stable, you can use it. And also in terms of generating like a passive income, like I think property is really the only good way to do that. Like people try and do it in crypto, and I think it's a bit of a scam, to be honest. I don't think really is reality. You can stake crypto and earn rewards, but you've still got to rely on the token to go up. So it's not really passive. But property, like you own a property outright, or like, you're earning positive yield on the rental income. Well, that's pretty much as passive as it gets.
Yeah. And you get a property manager, everything like that. And you can get serious leverage as well, which is hard to come by in crypto, right?
Yeah, 100%.
You need to get the capital first, then you can get leverage in crypto, not the other way around.
Yeah. So, I don't think anything changed with me. I'm pretty happy with that. And to be honest, it's pretty close to, well, it's not really, but it's close-ish to the strategy I have now. Obviously, because we've been investing in crypto for like 7 years, you sort of develop a pretty big portfolio, and it's hard to just drop some money in and make, substantial percentage changes as you accumulate so much. But
I want to get one final point. So I'll do mine, and you can think about yours while I'm talking. It's, how has your mindset changed, and what have you noticed about the way that you're talking compared to 2, 3, 4 years ago? So for me, it's definitely, I have zero FOMO with the latest thing. Cannot be fucked. Completely turned off. Disgusting. Do not want it. Like, I don't want to go into this crazy thing where I have to do, things with my wallet and chase things and weird chains and all this kind of crap. It's more just simplicity, a lot more buy and hold, not as active, sleep well at night, and practice my craft. Like, I don't have to spend hours and hours every day doing research, analysis, everything like that. Like, obviously I keep up to date with the team. I read the collective shift stuff, and I make sure my investments are going well, but not like I used to, like trying to find the latest thing, going to Discords, or now it's meme coins. Which meme coin should I buy? Oh, I'm going to buy this one because this guy said so. And it can form a cult, and then all that sort of nonsense. I have absolutely none of that. Not like one fiber in my body wants to do any of that.
I love it. I'm probably not the opposite, but I'm definitely on the other side of the scale. So I think, but my targets have come way down. Like, if you asked me 3 or 4 years ago, I'm like, I'm making $1 billion, or I'm like never quitting. And I'm like, fuck that. Not a chance on earth do I ever want to create $1 billion like company or portfolio. Like, fuck that. Just nuts. The stress, the never being able to switch it off, never be able to do anything fun. Like, you have to be completely built different to do that. And I realized
we sat down because we talked about this with the company, right?
Yeah.
And like, well, what do you actually want? And you're like, oh, all I want is this. Like, I don't want to be a billionaire. Saying being a billionaire is easy, but why? What do you actually need, and what do you want?
And it's not that. It's like, I want to be financially secure. I want to have enough money that I don't have to work if I don't want to. I want to look after my family, and I want to be able to travel and do what I want when I want. And I want to build and help other people to be fulfilled. Like, that's what I want. And that was like amazing. So I think my targets now have like adjusted to that and realized it's not that far off. And I don't need to bet the farm on these crazy, investments. And the reality is, I'm not even going to be able to get to that, even if I did do those investments. But one thing I do get is, I don't go and do the deep dives into the Discords and all the right degen stuff, because I have an amazing team that does that for me, and then they feed that back. So I'm getting the best alpha, the best insights, the best analysis that I can go and execute. And that's what's made me a lot of money, is having the team around me. So I think that's what's adjusted, that I'm just using my time better, because I'm like you, Bergs. I don't want to fucking have to worry about all this shit, have to go in and look at all this. But I want to talk to my team and ask them questions about projects. They feed the data to me. I can read it, skip the hours and hours and hours of research required that they do to get to the final investment analysis, and then I go execute.
Perfect.
It's a good model.
Nice.
So that was fascinating. I really enjoyed that. Hopefully you got a little bit out of that, everyone. We'd love to hear what you have to say. What are your thoughts? And we're actually going to be live in Sydney at AusCryptoCon at the live Ben and Bergs. That is in November in Sydney. We're going to be on the Sunday. So if you want to come by, I think we're at 2 p.m. Don't quote me on that. 2 p.m. on the Sunday, roughly, 24th of November in Sydney, the Australian Crypto Convention. If you don't have a ticket yet, you can use the discount code Collective Shift. That'll get you, I don't know, some sort of discount. I think it's like $80 for a full ticket. That'll get you a bit of a discount. And Bergs,
we'll put it in the show notes.
We'll put it in the show notes. Bergs and I'll be there live, talking shit, talking crypto as usual. And Bergs, I've heard we might have a couple of special prizes and exciting things on the day.
Bro, I heard there's going to be some merch, some alpha merch. It's finally happening. Some
exclusive Ben and Bergs merch. So we'd love to have you there, folks. We'd love to see you there. If not, we'd love for you to share this episode around if you have any friends or family or mates that need to get this in their ears? Do they have a spare 100K? Maybe they've got 10K to put in the market. Send them this so they get some insights.
Mate, what a cracking episode.
It's going to be good, mate. See you in person, folks.
See you, champions.